Hello, friends. My name is Jen. My pronouns are she, her, and ella for those that may speak Spanish. My social media handle is Jen Calo Tarot, and I have been a tarot reader, astrologer, and general occultist providing services for others for the last 5 years. However, my whole life I have had paranormal encounters, prophetic dreams, and my own private study, and random bouts of clairvoyance, which we will explore in further episodes.
Welcome to the show, grab a chair, make yourself at home. Jen's got stories to share, you'll never feel alone.
Hey everyone, my name is David. I'm married to Jen, and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of go through our journey and share it with everyone. We're coming up on 8 years together, 5 years married, and we always had like a fun back and forth banter between us where she'll bring me something in regards to her practice, and I'll just say, okay, I guess that makes sense, and play along like a good husband. But, sometimes I do have my thoughts on it, and I thought it'd be good to get these on record. So I think we're going to kind of open with that today and see where it goes.
Yes, definitely. I really can't remember in the beginning of our relationship, but was I open about like my paranormal experiences, or when I started my practice, was it just like an all of a sudden surprise? We've just been together so long, I can't remember.
Yeah, no, that definitely wasn't something that I think you opened up with. I think you kind of kept it repressed, but also from kind of what I can remember, like, I think when we first got together, it wasn't necessarily that you were as into it. I think it also kind of developed through the years, too.
Yeah, so I remember, I grew up Catholic. I feel like a lot of witches are ex-Catholic. They have just like a lot of this spicy trauma, but I love Catholicism and I have an appreciation for it even now because I like the super cool ritualistic side of thing, especially with like the saints and then turning Jesus's, body and blood right in front of you. Anyway, it's super cool. But yeah, I just had a lot of like Catholic guilt that I had to work through. But when I was a kid, I had like prophetic dreams that if you ask my mom, like she'll even tell you about since I was 3 years old. And I just like would get visions about the most random mundane shit. Like I would grab a lotto ticket and I'd be like, I'm gonna win like $2 today. And I would just like super dumb stuff. So I was like, I wonder if I can channel this for good. And at the time, I was working for a local Pride Center, and I worked alone in my office.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, I had just like this itching urge, and we didn't have a Ring camera or anything, but I had this itching urge to like open the door, and that happens to me sometimes, where it's like I just need to open the front door for like no reason, and then someone's like about to knock, like the delivery guy or like someone trying to evangelize or something. And that's when I was like, I get all of these like prophetic, feelings about dumb stuff. I wonder if I can actually channel it into something. And in walking distance, I took my break. There was a metaphysical store, and I bought my first tarot deck.
Yeah, and I think when you had that job, we were married. I think we were married by that time, right?
We were engaged or married. I got married we
got
got married.
married.
I got married.
But yeah, for sure we had been together for a few years by that point. So it wasn't like, it was like we were getting to know each other and then this happened. So I think by that point we were definitely comfortable with each other. But, it's funny you bring that up with, like, the Catholicism, because, like, just a little bit about me and kind of where we expect this podcast to go is just a different point of views, right? Because, you have that part, and as far as my background, like, we're both Latino. I'm biracial, so I have Vietnamese and half Chinese as well. But I grew up going to church, but it wasn't anything, like, extraordinary. I think it's just what everybody did on Sundays. I lived in Mexico for a few years, and I think I took it a little more serious when I was over there. My mom has this great story where I would just go around and try to collect money for the church and do those things. And I don't have anything against it, but I'm definitely more pragmatic, more logistic. So that's not something that controls my life. But with that said, I also kind of grew up with it in the sense that it was in the background. So my grandma's actually a practitioner, right? So she does healing, she does massages, she does limpias, which for those who don't know is kind of like the Mexican or the Spanish like spiritual cleaning. So it was always there, I guess, I was growing up, but I never really paid too much attention to it, or I didn't really think it impacted my life. But it's funny because you come full circle, and now I'm with you, and now, like, I wouldn't say it's, like, my interest, but it's part of my life, it kind of turned out. So I think it's funny, like, when I tried to ignore it, but then it came back to me. So, that's kind of the main background with me with all the metaphysical stuff. But I'm not really a believer in anything as far as, like, spiritual or like anything metaphysical. But I feel like I give you space to talk and practice, but sometimes in my head I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, I appreciate your respect for me. And just like a note for our friends, yes, we are both bilingual, so sometimes the Spanish will come out, but we'll definitely try to translate it. But yeah, your family is so amazing. I remember, I don't know why, but I had this feeling like that I wanted to tell your mom. I think we were at a sports bar and we were watching Kobe's memorial, but for some reason I felt like I wanted to tell her during that time. And then that's when she told me that she also, like, your family history and stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is legit. I was just, yeah. My family would not be as accepting, at least the older generations, like my cousins and stuff. They're cool, but yeah, I can't wait to share with our friends about your grandma. She is legit. She's an OG.
She's incredible, and maybe down the line she might be somebody who can maybe get in on the podcast and kind of give her insights. I know that you have kind of your practice, but it'd be cool to let people know, like, kind of maybe what you specialize in, or what you do specifically, or kind of what you gravitate toward. Because like I don't know much, but I know, like, I feel like the metaphysical and kind of that realm just has so many different aspects. But I'm guessing just like every big other thing, like, people kind of specialize or gravitate to something. So, like, what is it that you specifically do? Well, I think I have like a general understanding, but like, I don't think I've actually ever heard it out loud, so.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say that my three big sort of like specialties, if you will, are tarot, astrology, and then just like general occultism, like spells and rituals and stuff. I don't know Reiki. I don't know angel healing. Crystals are cool, but I couldn't like tell you every single crystal inside and out. But I would say that tarot is definitely something that I gravitate towards and I am good at, just because I have the ability to connect with people, to connect with their energy, and then just to let the messages flow through me. And I feel like I've helped a couple people, or else I don't think that I would have people coming back and booking readings. But in the beginning, I did have mega imposter syndrome, because I was on the road to getting a PhD. I was waitlisted, and then I didn't get in. It's a long story, but like, I have that STEM dog in me, so I'm not just like completely unhinged. Like, I studied science in college.
So you're telling me you don't have all the answers, right?
No. And I was like, what if I'm like actually crazy? What if I'm actually losing it? So I took a scientific approach to like really seeing, like, is this something I need to do? And I did 100 free readings.
Nice.
And I asked people after, I was like, you don't have to pay me, but just tell me, like, was this helpful? And of those 100 free readings, 99 people were super happy. And these aren't people I know. These were cold readings.
Just random.
I just used hashtag free tarot readings and people lined up.
Nice.
And so, yeah. And that one person that wasn't happy, like, wouldn't tell me why. But still, I was like, hey, that was an A+. So then I started feeling comfortable actually, like, charging for my readings. And I'm not trying to rip people off, but, like, I also can't do this, like, for free all the time either. But I do when I can.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's funny because, like, so I hear that and I hear all the work that goes in, but, for the listeners out there, how that looks through my eyes is like, I'll just be doing my own thing. I come home and there's like a million candles, or I'll open the fridge and there's like a jar with like weird things in it. And I'm like, excuse me, what is this doing next to my pickles? And you're like, don't worry about it. It's something I'm doing for a client. And I'm just like, okay, not the weirdest thing. I think one time I went to the bathroom and I saw some eggs, and I thought I was going crazy because I was like, "What the hell are these eggs doing here?" So it's kind of funny. Well, like you do your practice and you have your interest. I have my interest too, but when they overlap, in an outside perspective, I'm just walking in. I'm like, I don't know what is going on here, but I think that's what makes it great, right? Because I'm always going to support you. I may not understand it or fully want to be a part of it, but it's funny moments like that for me that I'm just like, this is awesome.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I'm just really excited because sometimes I feel like you'll just casually ask me like, so what's going on with the planets? And I'll like break it down for you.
Yeah.
For someone that like doesn't study, transits and astrology, or like, we'll see maybe like a tarot card somewhere, or like art inspired by a tarot card, and I'll explain what it means. And I thought it would be cool to document, these conversations, and like how you break it down to a partner or a friend that like isn't in those practices in a way that they can understand. And I welcome any questions too. I'm not a magic 8 ball. I feel like some tarot readers or some occultists, they really try to flex and they're like, I know all, and I'm just like, no, I'm really chill. My style is really collaborative, and it's like I'm helping you understand yourself.
And I think that's great too, and I think that's why I'm a little more appreciative, because like I come from a psychology background. I've worked about 8 years into mental health. I got out and started working for profit, but I think a lot of things that you tell me do kind of overlap with just the cognition of helping people and helping them guide through life. And like you said, it's not necessarily like I'm going to tell you your lotto numbers, but it's maybe just a mirror up to the person, and it's a creative way to deliver it in mind. So I always think that's kind of cool. We have this overlap, and I think every episode, one thing that we're going to try to do is maybe come up with an example and say like, what happened this last week where like you're saying it's metaphysical, or like maybe we had both a metaphysical experience, and just kind of take some space to talk about it, because I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for that. And yeah, I just really appreciate you and everyone that has supported me through my journey, especially those friends that are like, I've never had a tarot reading, and I'm not trying to push it on them, but once I finally open up and they're like, you know what, I'm willing to give it a shot, and then they end up like having a great experience. I appreciate anyone that has liked my content, shared my content, just generally cheered me on. Just thank you so much for being a part of this journey. And if you're listening, just thank you so much for being a part of this experience. So we want to try to drop episodes every Wednesday, and again, that's intentional because we'll talk about this later, but Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, in Spanish miércoles, so you could hear the similarities because that's a great communication day. So we are going to aim for every Wednesday, but in the meantime, I am still open for readings, or just like sharing cool memes, whatever. Just get in contact with me. My social media handles, I'm most active on Instagram, is Jen Kahlo Tarot, inspired by Frida Kahlo. I know she has a little bit of like hot water right now, but I still love her and her art.
I didn't know that.
We will. I know. I'm like, oh damn. After I learned, but I still like how it sounds. So,
do you want to spell it out for everyone? Because I struggle with. I probably can barely spell Jen. So
yeah, no worries. So it's GENKAHLO Tarot, TAROT.
Cool. We have about a minute left, but I think so. I'm hoping that once we get listeners and people find us, I do want to open up for questions. But since this is our first episode, like maybe this time you ask me a question, and we can answer that, and then as we move forward, this is going to be a shorter episode because it's the first one, but we are going to plan to have longer episodes down the line. But maybe end it with one question.
Yeah. Which one would you say is more far-fetched for you? I know they're both far-fetched, but do you think tarot is more far-fetched or astrology is more far-fetched for you?
I probably would say, I don't know if far-fetched is the word that I would use, but again, from just kind of like a skeptic's perspective, it was like one or the other. I think astrology may have a little more merit, just because since mankind has been able to look up to the sky, like we've seen the stars, and we have found some great technology and history just in looking to the stars. I know we navigate using the stars. So I would say maybe astrology is one where I'm a little more comfortable with. But yeah.
I'm really excited to analyze some life events through an astrological lens. So we'll talk about that. But anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Jen Kahlo signing off, and we'll see you next time.